Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's another day, another round of layoffs in the video game industry, in the AAA video game industry. Now, Warner Brothers Games Montreal laying a bunch of people off. I think it's tied to Suicide Squad.
Oh, shocker.
Oh my God, doing so badly. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about Helldivers 2 doing pretty well and people being very angry about it because it's very insensitive of you to talk about your success when so many of us are not.
I know, but if it was the other way around, they'd be like, ha 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 ha, neener neener. You know what I mean?
Suck it, chuds. Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah. And that's what a lot of this is. A lot of the reason that I think YouTubers and podcasters are getting so much shit from gaming journos is that there are so, fewer gaming journos out there because they're getting laid off. The reason that a lot of these developers are attacking indie developers or people that used to work for these AAA companies is because they're unemployed, and there's just this feeling of fear and malaise in the video game industry, which got way too big and way too unsustainable and way too woke. I mean, let's be honest, and that's a big reason why people aren't buying these games. But there are a lot of problems, and attacking indie developers. I mean, this is another reason I think Pal World was attacked as hard as it was because it was a game that cost a fraction as much as these AAA titles, and it sold ridiculously well, and they got attacked for it. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to clownfish-.com, check out the reef, check out the merch, check out the exclusive content, also mirrored on clownfishtv.locals.com. It's come from Game Rant. Warner Brothers Games Montreal reportedly hit with layoffs. So they said the reported layoffs impact 99 quality assurance team members. Major video game studios like Sony and Microsoft have faced massive layoffs. Speculation suggests the poor reception of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League led to the job cuts. Oh my God, guys. Imagine that. You don't make money.
You have to lay people off.
You have to lay people off.
I know.
I don't. Why is this so surprising?
I don't understand.
Why are people so shocked by this? It's the same with animation. It's the same with Hollywood. Your studio is not making money. Your studio is driving away customers. If we don't have any money, we have to lay you off. Now, I saw something yesterday. Actually, someone had sent a link over to, there was a tabletop RPG manufacturer. I don't want to put him on blast or put the people that work for him on blast, but he had to lay his staff off, but he put it on YouTube. He put the all hands meeting. I don't know why you would do that to people. I have no idea, but he was trying to show we're not selling enough. And I guess they sold tables. They sold like high-end gaming tables. And I'm like, well, there are only so many people that are going to buy like a $2,000 gaming table, right?
Yeah.
You get to a point where it's like, how many people realistically are going to buy a $2,000 gaming table? But he had to lay people off. But then he put it on YouTube, and I'm like, God, don't do that. Don't do that. Actually, now they wouldn't even bother doing it. They would just like fire you over Zoom or email. It's like, just don't bother.
Pretty much, yeah.
Don't bother coming into work, guys. They said yet another series of video game industry layoffs has hit workers as Warner Brothers Games Montreal has reportedly let go of 99 of its development studio quality assurance team members. Well, apparently they weren't sure of the quality on some of these games because they should have said, hey, don't release this. It's not good. Major cutbacks and restructurings have plagued the industry since the summer of 2023, and Warner Brothers Games Montreal is the latest among many. There have been almost 25 to 30,000 people unemployed in the gaming industry in the last 2 years. It's ridiculous. A lot. It's ridiculous. It's like every day. I mean, literally, it's like every day. But the reason we're covering this particular group is because it's tied to Suicide Squad, which should have been a slam dunk hit, and it wasn't. It wasn't for so many reasons. It said, according to sources in contact with CBC Radio Canada, Warner Brothers Montreal Canada announced the elimination of 99 internal jobs during a staff meeting.
I mean, it's not a whole lot, honestly, but I guess for Montreal, Canada, it might be.
Yeah, probably is.
In this one instance, I mean, there's a lot altogether, yes.
Sources allege the layoffs targeted the quality assurance team that helped to work on the poorly received Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
Would you want to be the quality assurance team on that one?
Oh, God. Yeah, no.
I mean, they had to think it was coming.
I don't know. Some of these people are so damn clueless. I swear to God, like you see, okay, So you look at the journalists, gaming journalists, and their sites are clearly not doing well, and then they get laid off. They're like, guys, I don't understand it. I don't understand. Why do we get laid off? I'm like, because nobody's reading your blog anymore. The money is not there. Like, I swear to God, this needs to be something that, like, anybody that works in any part of the entertainment industry, even if it's in journalism covering the entertainment industry or whatever, they need to sit down and explain business 101 to them. If there is no money, we can't afford to pay you. How hard is it to understand if there's no money, we can't afford to pay you? But so many of these businesses were propped up artificially with venture capital and investment and, monopoly money and BlackRock, that they were able to just chug along even if they weren't making money.
When I do feel bad in regards to the people that work at these companies get gone, because, some of them don't have any control over what they're told to do. Like, they're like idiots up on top decide that this is a good idea because they listen to Sweet Baby Inc. and company.
Right.
And then they make these stupid choices, and then people get laid off because they're just doing their job. And I do feel bad about that. But the flip side is no one told them this was probably a bad idea.
Yeah. The Warner Brothers lost $200 million on this game. So basically any gains that they had from Hogwarts Legacy the year before got wiped out by this game.
Yeah, they were doing great because of that. Yeah.
One of the former staff alleges the studio had assured team members over the summer that there would be plenty of new projects to work on, but then announced a lack of such projects as the reason for the terminations.
That sucks. If they've already been told that they were fine, then they did that. That sucks.
I can't.
Been there.
I have been there. This literally happened to me when I got laid off from my one job, and I've talked about getting laid off before and how they treat you. A lot of times they don't treat you very well when they lay you off if you work for a corporation. But I literally asked the CEO of the company the Friday before I got laid off. I got laid off on Monday. And I said, hey, I'm not seeing a lot of new projects. We're good, right? For next year, everything's looking good. We're all good here. Oh, yeah. We got plenty of things. We'll talk about Monday. It's going to be great. We got lots of stuff coming up. Just right now, things are a little tight. But, there's tons of work. Everything's great. Everything's fantastic. And then Monday morning, he made sure he took off that day. And then had HR lay everybody off. It's like, yeah, I knew something was up. But a lot of these people, they're younger, they're naive, they don't understand how it actually works, and then they get angry. I
think some of them probably were asking questions, and they were told it was fine. Because why would they be told that if they weren't asking?
Then what happens is
and right before the holiday. I mean, it's kind of crap.
Yeah, it's right. Well, because before the end of the fiscal year, so you go into January with a leaner, meaner team. Now, it used to be back in the day when things were a little more civilized that the unspoken rule was you didn't lay people off right before the holidays. You would wait until January or February.
But back in those days, too, you used to get bonuses for holidays and stuff
You used to get bonuses for holidays. You used to get parties. You used to get, you were treated more humanely, more human-like, I think, than you are now. And that's just, corporatization across the board. But anyway, I digress. So they haven't issued an official statement on the layoffs. They're not going to. They said, while there's no official confirmation of the layoffs, many are speculating that the poor performance of Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League forced the studio to make the cutbacks. Some speculate that the now canceled updates. Yeah, they're basically ending the game in January already.
Yeah, already,
it's done.
yeah.
They're scraping off the bottom of their shoes. They're done. It may have been the new projects that were planned during the summer. So here's the thing. They're going to tell you what they know. And if the higher ups are like, oh, yeah, we're going to run this game for, 2-3 years and then whatever. But then once the financials come in, they're like, oh, shit, we can't.
Well, they probably have people higher up telling them you need to cut. We have to be leaner and meaner, like you said, before the new year.
Yep.
And then they're just cutting where they think they can cut.
And they never fall on their own swords. You ever notice that?
No, they never do.
Like the CEO's like, oh, well, geez, I could save this company $1 million a year if I would step aside.
Or take less money. But no, that never happens.
Because in Japan, a lot of times the CEO takes a hit if the company takes a hit. And the CEO can only get paid, I don't know what the multiplier is, but you can only get paid so many times what the average worker gets paid. So you're not going to have like your average grunt making $50,000 a year, $40,000 a year, whatever, and then your CEO's making like $40 million a year. It's not going to happen. The CEO might make a couple $100,000 a year, but that's it. And then their performance.
Well, it's more than that, but yeah.
Yeah, but their performance is tied to the company, and if the company is not doing well, that falls on the shoulders squarely of the CEO usually. But
not here.
Not here. Well, now it's always macroeconomic circumstances. And because of the pandemic 4 years ago, this year, this game didn't sell well because.
Wasn't Zaslav selling stock?
Yes. David Zaslav is selling stock. I just saw an article this morning. $30 million he's unloading. So I think he's getting ready to cash out. I think he's looking at things like, yeah, we can't turn this around. Maybe he's seen the new Superman trailer.
I haven't seen anything about it, so I don't know. It might be good.
Superman trailer comes out tomorrow. No, I'm joking. I'm like, maybe he's seen it. And he's like, oh yeah, this is what we're pinning all of our hopes and dreams on. Oh shit.
Personally, I'm hoping it's good.
I hope it's good. I
like to see return to good things.
It does.
That'd be great.
I am encouraged by the fact that they seem to be using the John Williams score. I'm encouraged by the fact that for the most part, the casting looks comic book accurate. I think the guy that they have playing Superman, because we saw him in Twisters. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, he looks like Superman.
Yeah, he could. He
totally can pull off Superman. The thing that concerns me about it is the number of side characters that we're going to have in this Superman movie. Like, this is a reintroduction of Superman, and we got like 30, 40
yeah, see, they keep
D-list
overdoing
side
it.
characters.
I'm like, overdoing that.
Do we want to do we want to do that? Do we want to have Guy Gardner in the Superman movie right now? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like Guy Gardner, but I'm like, do we really need him in the Superman movie? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's been pretty freaking catastrophic in the last 2 years. I think they said it was like 30,000 people. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's interesting that we're seeing all these layoffs, and here we have the guy in charge of Helldivers 2, and they said in a year of brutal layoffs and closures, Helldivers 2 is giving the studio the financial stability to keep going and keep making the games that we want to make. That's the thing. Like, the customers are there, right? The customers are there. They're just not buying these AAA titles. Mm-hmm. And we've seen this time and time again. I mentioned Pal World earlier, and I mentioned, Stellar Blade. We've talked about that. And, people will buy games. They'll support games that look like stuff they want to play. And Helldivers 2 started off great. And then it just kind of, they had some issues. That's a whole nother thing. But yeah, it's come from Games Radar. So this is like a compare and contrast, right? Helldivers 2 flooded the internet with memes, turned millions of us into democracy-spreading fascists. I guess that's okay, right? And gave developer Arrowhead Game Studios the financial stability to keep making the games we want. They said, yeah, that's what Michael Erickson said about the co-op phenomenon's huge success, which the team didn't think was possible pre-launch. In an interview with Games Radar, ahead of the Hefty Omens of Tyranny update, has given us financial stability to keep going for many years, which is a really big privilege, and we're all very happy about it, but it doesn't feel that different in the studio. So they said the attitude hasn't changed much because everyone's focused on the same thing they've always been focused on, except for the financial stability, which we're happy about, super happy about. It doesn't feel that different. We're just going to keep making the games we want, that we think are the most fun.
See, that's it. You have to keep making games that you think are going to be fun for people instead of using games as a gateway to insert whatever. You can put, not saying you can't put things in it, but you can do it in a fun, acceptable way to everyone, and people just don't want to do that for whatever reason.
That was like the guy in charge of Larry, and he had a speech at the Game Awards, and he was like, the next big game next year is going to come from a studio that focuses on putting the players first, putting fun first, and putting
that hard.
Putting a complete or mostly complete game out, and not focusing on microtransactions and stuff like that. And there were some people in the audience that were clapping and some other people weren't, because I think they were like, well, we're all getting laid off. I'm like, you're getting laid off from studios that are producing stuff that gamers don't want to play. And they're actually focusing more on, that was, one of the big things with Suicide Squad, is they're focusing more on the DLC and the microtransactions. So not only do you have a shitty game, but you have a shitty game that's trying to make as much money off of you as possible. And back in the day, people tried to put the best, most polished game out that they could. They're bringing up Concord, which $400 million flushed down the toilet for Sony, because 200 to make it the first time, and then 200 million to make it to try to salvage it. Yeah. And they still wound up burning. Can you imagine having that much money to burn? Like, yeah, we're just going to take the write-off. Like, we make so much money. Like, yeah, 400 million, we'll just
Or they could, given us a fraction of that, and we could have told them bad idea and saved them all kinds of money. But,
Yeah. So the production director says definitely putting us on more stable horizons, especially in these times. And they mentioned Concord specifically. It said it feels good. It feels good to see what we can look ahead on a long time and keep the devs happy as well. That part's valuable. To think, yeah, we're going to be able to keep doing what we want, making games. That's precious, I think, as a studio. It's weird. It didn't change much. We kept the same culture. If I would go back a year, I would still feel the same with the people I'm working with. We're really happy with keeping the Arrowhead way. Well, that's just it. And these other studios, though, they've blown up. In the case of Suicide Squad, they decided to spend untold thousands or hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars on consultants to come in and tell them what was wrong with their game instead of focusing on a fun game. I think innately a lot of people that are gamers who get into developing games know what gamers actually want.
I think that's why the independents are doing so much better.
Yeah, I think that's the few. I think the gaming industry overall, I think, is going to be fine. It's just these big AAA studios are going to implode. They're not sustainable. We're going to see a shakeout, but we're going to see a lot of stuff like this pop up. Helldivers and Stellar Blade and stuff like that. They call them AA games, but yeah, it's a cautionary tale, guys. It's a cautionary tale, and again, it's just going to be like Hollywood and animation and comics and all that stuff, where the overall industry will course correct. It'll be fine, but not everybody that's in it now is going to be in it 5 years from now, because just necessary shakeout. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.